Hey guys, welcome back to the Georgia's Live podcast. I'm your host, Travis Smith, and you can go online to see what shows are coming up at Georgia's Majestic Lounge at georgiaslive.com. Be sure to follow us on social media on Facebook and on Instagram at Georgia's Majestic Lounge and on Twitter at Georgia's Majestic. And thank you guys for listening to the podcast. It is nice to get them up and going with this new year here. And speaking of some new folks on the podcast, we have Ben Meade and we have Mary Crouch back again, second time.
Hey, I'm happy to be back with you, Travis.
So,
it's fun times.
I would say we're all in the soup here.
Yeah, for sure. We're all
okay.
Yeah, we're all in the soup. Like I see you more than I see most people in my life just do dealings around here. So
hey, somebody's gonna get jealous.
Yeah, we're in the soup, and that is a good way of saying it. And Ben, I wanted to have you on the podcast to talk about Cosmic Cowboy, the stuff that you're doing with Nectar and your projects and stuff like that. And but first, kind of Mary, kind of talk about what you do with Cosmic Cowboy, and then we'll get into with Ben here.
I do a little bit of everything. I'm his coach, his wellness person, whatever. One of my main roles, though, is I'm a publicist, and I also do voiceover work, just, bouncing off of all my years working in radio, and a little bit of everything. I've spent so much time in that radio and records field that for me, being at the Cosmic Cowboy studio is a way it broadens my experience but yet brings what I've done for most of my life to it. So it's quite a privilege, I can tell you that. I moved here from Washington, D.C., and to be back home, I'm a native Arkansan, to be back home and get to work with such a amazing venture as Cosmic Cowboy Studio and Records. I love it.
So Ben, kind of talk about what is Cosmic Cowboy. We'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about how it came about. But what exactly is Cosmic Cowboy?
Well, I retired from the University of Kansas and sat around for about 2 months. Thought I was going to lose my mind, because I figure that most people that retire either get obese or they get addicted
kind of
to something
stagnant or something.
Whatever. I mean, they're just crazy. And so my wife Jane says, why don't you finally build a studio? I said, where? She said, here. I said, oh, man, but I don't want to go out. And so we found this one lot. The one lot left right off the square. And the city had just rezoned it like commercial, and I could build a building there. Crossland Construction was doing and is doing a big project at the library, and so through some connections, I got them to build my little building there. I mean, a big company to build this little cool building. And it was designed by David McKee. And you had Frank Lloyd Wright. Then you had Faye Jones, who worked under Frank Lloyd Wright. Then you had Dave McKee, who worked under Faye Jones. So if you drive by it, you say one of two things. This doesn't fit, or this doesn't belong here, or this is absolutely cool.
Yeah, it's I don't know how to say it. It looks old but new.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like brand new.
Yeah, it's brand new, but it looks like. But I think last time I was there, I was like, Ben, how long has this been here? Like 100 years? You're like,
you're like,
months, you
how
moron.
long did it take you to restore this? I said, restore what?
Well, especially on the inside when you see the equipment, it's analog. I mean, I started in radio 30 years ago. He's got a tape player, an MCI deck that I first learned radio on.
Sure.
So it's pretty amazing.
Especially the gear and the stories behind the gear that you got sitting around the walls is just amazing.
Yeah.
Between some of those amps, and who's played on them and stuff like that.
Right.
So you've got the live room set up in there, big open room.
Got the live room set up in there. I got so doggone many amplifiers in there. It's ridiculous. But, one belonged to Waylon Jennings, one belonged to Roy Orbison, one belonged to Flea.
Yeah, it's crazy that you
Yeah,
have all
it's
that
fun.
history. Yeah,
It's
for
fun.
sure.
It's
Especially as you saying being retired and you have this. What a dream! Like I want to do that now. So you've got the upstairs up there too. You also do some video production
we
stuff.
do a lot of video, and we are probably the only place within 4 states we shoot motion picture film, not video, film.
Yeah,
film.
nice.
Okay, so I've got 2 refrigerators full of it at my house.
Does the refrigerator, like you put the film in the refrigerator?
Yeah.
It keeps it cold?
Have to keep it
And that preserves
cool.
it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So kind of talk about your background in film. That's kind of, you've done a lot of...
Well,
obvious stuff in
I went to Mizzou, and when I was a little boy, my grandma took me to see a film called Jason and the Argonauts. I sat there thinking, that's what I want to do. I was about 7. So I played around, had a paper route, bought a Super 8 camera, bought a projector. My dad was always really, really great about it. You know, he said, yeah, just do what you want to do. So I went to film school down MU, and then I went to Hollywood, and I worked for Universal for a year and a half. And once I got tired of pouring coffee, okay.
How old were you when you went? Like
20.
Early 20s?
20, yeah. 20.
20. Yeah, right there.
I just thought that people were very heartless, mean. And of course they didn't care about me. So I came back home, and I really didn't know what to do. So I went to my scoutmaster, because I was an Eagle Scout back when that was important, and went to my scoutmaster, who was a stockbroker. He made me a stockbroker, and I was a board trader 3 days a week at the Kansas City Board of Trade.
Oh, nice.
We're in a ponytail and a suit and doing it, but just trying to be intentional, do as well as I could do, so I could get the hell out of it and do what I wanted to
And
do.
do what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's cool that you're able to put that type of maturity into it. I think there's a lot of people that sometimes struggle with the need that they need to basically pay bills and do what they need to do so that that frees them up to be creative.
I was immature, man. I was a punk. Okay.
Well, the fact that you kept a job like that,
but I was good. I was good, and I hated it, but I was good at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Then I stayed at that job. It seemed like forever, and then I made partner. I got all these accolades. I mean, it was great, but it never really mattered until I said, I'm going to go back and get my PhD. And I did in theater and film, emphasis on music composition for film at KU. And then they hired me. Then for the next 28 years, that's what I did. I sold my business to my daughter's husband. So everything worked out.
Nice. So
I just said, don't ever give me, or don't ever ask me for anything again. Okay?
yeah, like when you were done, you were done.
Yeah.
So that after that, you were into the music education or the film and music education.
Right. And what happened was I was working down in Hot Springs, and I met this woman who was very mouthy. Okay, I mean, she talked a lot, and she was very loud. Okay, who I'm now married to. But the deal is that they came in there, and I didn't know her mother owned the company. I mean, she thought I was from the newspaper. It was just a disaster. And but we got together 10 years ago, and I told my daughter, I said, I'm going to move to Arkansas. She said, why? I said, because there's something there. There's something there. I really can't figure it out.
So you didn't know that there was like a calling, but you couldn't really put your finger on what it was?
No, I couldn't. I couldn't. I thought I was at the freaking Twilight
Were
Zone.
you thinking Arkansas? Were you thinking this area of Arkansas too? Were you pinpointed down to that much of a location?
No, I always liked Fayetteville, but I didn't understand it, okay? Because it was all about football, and which I don't really follow, and that's not to,
It's hard to be all about football now because we're not doing as good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be back. We'll be back. But I'm just saying.
When I moved here
It's always basketball.
10 years ago, it was like, I said, it was great because you had MLK over here and you had Joyce over here and everything happens. Mm-hmm. Okay. Except you need more nice restaurants.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're coming. They are coming.
We have good restaurants, but it's just like, yeah, we can get into that all day.
Okay.
So I bought this lot. I said, I'm going to build this building. I'm going to make it 18 inches shorter on the second floor so I don't have to have an elevator by law.
Oh, nice.
Call it a mezzanine. And we did it. We had Darren Novotny come in and just trick the whole thing out. And Rich Klein, another friend of mine, went to Nashville and brought back all the decks. And honestly, going into it, I wasn't clueless. I just didn't have a real direction. Mm-hmm. And so through like Brian Crown and folks like yourself, Robert, and people that I know, okay, I was starting to get some direction. Okay, where this thing's really, really gonna head, and seeing musicians perform and seeing them perform for the dinner. I mean, come on.
Yeah, there's I feel like where we live in Northwest Arkansas, that it's a hotbed of amazing musicians everywhere.
I think it's incredible,
and it's hard for people if you don't go out to shows all the time. Yeah. Which, I mean, there's right where we're at right now. George's is, I mean, it's an institution, is one of the best music venues. And being on the inside and working working alongside Brian, everything is so just professional and it's on time and it's
and honest and handshake, and you never have to worry about.
It's hard to find that in venues at other places, and I've toured all over the country with every type of band you could think of since I got out of high school, and.
I recall you came back a few months ago and you were really tired.
There's some weekends where I'll go play like Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, but Thursday I'll be here, leave town, come back, drive through the night, come back here, work, and then go.
Yeah.
And then you come to your day job at Georgia.
Yeah. So, but for me, it's kind of all fun. It's all like I come back to the place where I kind of started. My music career is actually playing here. This is where, Ozark Blues Societies back in the day. My mom would come and sit with me and would watch the bands and stuff. And then I had a few peers that were my age. And now, like a Corey Montgomery, he's from here, but he's out touring all over the place. I think he might live in Colorado right now. I'm not completely sure. But there was also Isaiah Warford, who's around here playing all the time. We were like the young kids. We were like
he's
13
down,
or 15.
Down right now.
He's playing. He's playing.
Place.
So,
and he's fantastic.
So whenever I meet people like yourself who also knows a lot of Fayetteville and a lot of Northwest Arkansas music history, and some of the people we've had come from here, there's like Levon Helm and his history here, and what we talked about on the Cate Brothers podcast, talking about the history that's here. You too know a lot about the history that's here, and for myself, I'm a little bit younger than you guys, and we talked about this last time after the podcast, where like I love talking to people that are they were in a different time when the scene was what it is now, which is musicians playing at music venues and stuff like that. So it's cool for me to talk to people and I find out all this rich history that we've had, even in local bands, because to me, like, local bands are also heroes to me because I like the band, and to me, I don't care how many albums you've sold to make you good. So to hear about these bands,
it's not about the number of units sold.
And it's about
the sound.
yeah. And once
It's
you
about
get
the sounds.
and you get to know these people, and you become
Yeah.
friends with them, and then
Right.
you see like they go through traumatic experiences that you have with them, and then they go write a song about it, and now you watch them play that song for 20 years. That's like it literally gives me goosebumps just now saying that, and to be like in the middle of so much industry and so much art being created literally all around me constantly. It's just a nice place to be at, and I feel like you always, in opening this place, really pays homage to that. You provide a place for them to come there and be themselves, and
Right. And if they don't have the resources, I'll find them for it.
And that is a challenge here, as it is nationally and internationally. Musicians today, how do they actually make a living? I mean, they need places like the Cosmic Cowboy Recording Studio, George's Majestic, to support them, because it's very much more difficult to get your music out there, to get people to buy it. You pretty much have to tour to be able to
Yeah, you
make.
gotta-
Which is what we're doing with that band. It's basically
Right.
touring,
Yeah.
and that's cool. However, I was 13 the first time I saw Frank Zappa, and he signed this drum head, which I have hanging down there, and it was $3, and the T-shirt was free. The point was to promote the record. So all that's kind of like gone now.
yeah,
It's come
Gone now.
totally backwards.
yeah.
So-
You
so
got to be
since
more
it's-
creative, you know.
Yeah, but it's not
But that's-
really gone 100%. Because what we can do here, we can do that. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we can't like give
The
away
way-
everything, but on the other hand,
well, technically, you know, they say now your music is. It's more than that, obviously, but it's almost like your business card that gets you to find out about the band.
Right.
And, you know, and there's a
Yeah.
band, there's a lot that goes into a
Yeah,
band.
that's a good way of put it.
You got your body of work, you got your albums, you got your merch, you got your songwriting, you got your shows
Yeah.
that you're playing, you've got all these elements that make up a band that's almost like a business. And having all these things together and having a place to pull them in. I think the point I was trying to say is there's not a lot of people like yourself that provide something where people can go do that. There's usually so many other elements that make up, you know, say a music venue. You got to have the owners, got to have the bar manager, security guys got to be on top of it. There's all these things that have, and checks and balances that have to be in place to be able to provide a quality music venue. And I think for what you have, being where people can come in and you're capturing their art and pumping it back out,
Right.
it's like that's just amazing to me.
All
Especially-
someone has to say is, I have this, I've done this, I've written this, I don't know what to do, and I need your help. And I'll say, generally, okay, let's get into trouble.
yeah, let's do a project.
Good
So,
trouble. of course.
Speaking of projects, Nectar. We have Nectar,
Nectar,
coming to
oh
town.
my God.
So
It's exciting stuff right now.
yeah,
That's
for
a
sure.
long drawn out
So
story, man.
if anybody doesn't know who Nectar is, how would you explain who they are?
Well,
and what they've done?
Nectar, not nectar, but nectar. But here's the deal.
Did I say it wrong? Is it Nectar?
No. I'm just telling you.
Okay, cool.
No,
Yeah, I got
telling
you.
The way it's
Cool.
spelled.
Well, I was just making sure so I don't like blow it for the next 20 times I say it.
I met them when I was 18 years old. I left college and rented a motorcycle with a sidecar in Germany to go try and find them. And
You got a motorcycle with a sidecar? Was there anything in the sidecar?
no, it was just this shitty car. You know, it was raining, you know, and all this
Yeah.
crap. And so I got the Dieter Dirk studio, and outside of Bonn, and I said, I know these guys, but I don't hear enough from them, and I'm willing to take a semester off from college. Of course, my father went ballistic. I had no ticket to get back, so I busked. You know.
Yeah, playing out on the street.
Yeah. And I got back, and so we've been friends ever since. And then they split it back in the '80s, reformed in '95, and then all of a sudden, I was at Hobby Lobby one day, oddly enough, and I get a phone call from Ron Howden, the drummer, who's 75. Ben, we're going to do an album. I said, what? You guys go do an album? Yeah. We don't have a label. We don't have a budget. We have nothing. What can you do? I said, well, would you mind releasing it from Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Yeah.
On my label? No, we'll do anything. Okay, great. So I went to New York. We recorded up there in July.
Is that where they're at?
Most of them live there now, and it's it's a pretty good record. I mean it came out last Wednesday, and came out number 12 on the prog rock charts and number 1 on the bestsellers of prog rock on Amazon, which
nobody expected.
Well,
they expected
I call it Mary. I was crying. I was
crying.
crying.
Yeah, how amazing. Yeah, for
I
sure.
didn't know what to do.
And it's number 1 in Paris, France this week.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you were telling me that, and when I say not expected, like you guys knew it would be good, but you weren't expecting it to just jump like that.
No. I figured we just turn along, and I get my producer fees back, in the long run. Man, I got a big check last week. It was great. so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
But what they do is, and they'll be here on March 8th, but what they do is it's an old style, okay? It's prog rock and psychedelia. So they put up screens in the back, and they're doing liquid light shows and film and all this crazy stuff to where the experience is very visceral. Mm-hmm. Okay, to where you're seeing and you're hearing,
it's capturing more of your senses.
And you're going, what is going on here? And I think my wife Jane, we were up in New York at the Iridium Club week and a half ago, and I think she got so freaked out because she'd never seen anything like this. Mm-hmm. She said, I have to go home. And they had two sets. That was after the first set. And so I stayed. And then I went home and I said, are you all right? And she goes, I've never seen anything like this in my whole life. She said, it just overstimulated me so much,
So they did that. Have they always kind of done that?
Yeah, always.
So they were way ahead of the curve on the visuals at the concerts and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
which is like hand in hand now.
Yeah, yeah. There's this dude named Mick Brockett, who is a band member but doesn't play any instruments. He just does the visual stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
I mean, look out.
So he knows. So he's
he's 74.
An extra element. He knows the music too, so he knows kind of what the band's kind of aiming for.
I mean, he is a member.
He's
of
a
the
member
band.
of the
yeah.
Essentially.
So that's amazing. So they're going to be here on March 8th.
March 8th.
Mm-hmm. Right. And tickets are available at georgeslive.com.
We got 30 slots for a meet and greet where you get to see the sound check. And then me and JD from Earl and them and John Davies, we're going to get up and jam with them.
Oh, nice.
For about a half hour. And no, I have no idea what to expect.
I was about to say, how do you prepare for that?
Well, I sent them up on Cripple Creek and The Wait, and then they want me to do Nellie the Elephant, which is off their third album, and we'll see.
Nice. So what other projects do you have coming out of Cosmic Cowboy right now? I know you kind of worked with Sean Harrison.
Yeah. Sean's thing comes out when?
It's February 16th.
Here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sunday afternoon from 4 to 6. It's a CD release party.
Right, and there will be, before he plays, there'll be a singer-songwriter circle, which will be myself, Sarah Hughes, Justin Brasher, there's two or three others. But we're just going to each sing a song or two and talk about
amazing songwriters.
Why we wrote it. You know, what was going through our mind?
Yeah, for sure. That's I love
Did we
hearing this story.
pull
behind
ourselves
it.
up off the parking lot that night and go, oh my God, I gotta write a song.
So I'm glad you found Justin Brasher. That's a very talented person too.
He's one of my best spots. He does all our shirts down at Houndstooth.
He's the man for sure.
And one thing about this Nectar thing, I said, if you want me to handle shirts for you as a producer, I will not outsource them to Malaysia and Indonesia. It will be done in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Local. Yeah, local.
And it's going to cost you $2 more a shirt. But my God,
The quality is worth it
yeah.
too. You know, merch is. All my bands are all buying shirts and stuff. And I work up at the amp, so I always go look at the merch because I'm always interested in. I like seeing how things work, what works, what doesn't work, just out of curiosity, and to see what T-shirts are selling for different types of bands, what types of bands will take a risk on a T-shirt that a design style that might not be in their wheelhouse and stuff like that. Like Alabama came and sold out of like vintage shirts. They sold out of merch.
Yeah.
Like Alabama, they've been around for 50 years or something like that. That's crazy.
Forever. Yeah.
So that's merch is super important. Is there anything else you want to chat about coming up?
Sarah Hughes is doing a new record. And a lot of people around here know her, but this is going to really kill. It's got her buddy Isaiah playing guitar, got Stingray playing drums.
Oh, good Lord.
It's killer.
Stingray's a man.
Yeah, it's killer.
As a drummer, I
Killer.
appreciate him. a great deal.
And they came in the first night. We stayed up all night, and they laid down 6 of the 8 tracks, one night.
I believe it. When you got good players, that's what happens.
Wow! And I was thinking, if everybody would come in and do this, and
That's what I was saying about good people here.
2 or 3 weeks,
Like I've just bands that I've been in. I've been in 2 or 3. They'll go knock out a song in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Every part, every vocal, and we're tracking it and stuff like that. There's so many talented musicians in our area.
Yeah.
Where can people go online to find out more about Cosmic Cowboy?
Oh, we just got CosmicCowboy.com. I hate to say this, but I will. My CosmicCowboyRecords.net is not up yet because everything's new. Everything's new.
I mean, the studio is less than 6 months old?
Right
around that?
Right.
I thought it was.
And now it's just like this icon,
Yeah. Well, Sean told me that he met you at the ribbon cutting. Is that right?
Sean
Harrison?
Yeah.
Okay.
Met me at the ribbon
He said
cutting.
he went to the ribbon cutting
and
because he thought it was cool and see what's going on.
And said, "Listen, I've got these songs, and would you listen to them?" And I'm like, busier than hell, I'm like, yeah, right, Once I sat down one night, it was really late. I put my pods down, listening. I said, "This guy's good," and he's sincere.
Very sincere.
And this is not a bullshit deal. I mean, he's not trying to play to. I mean, he's a musician. He's not trying to be a professional. And there's a big difference.
He's got something in his mind and his heart. He's trying to get it out.
Exactly.
Right.
I feel like he's so in touch with himself, and he's just bringing that out in his songwriting. And definitely, you get to know Sean Harrison through his music.
Yeah.
When I listened to it, I was like, "This is very much Sean." It was great, and I was like, "This sounds like something that someone Sean will put out."
When he did that song, the one that just kills me is called "Ode to a Goner," and it's so sad, but it's so true. It's about a buddy his that died that had autism, but you don't really know that when you listen to it until you listen to it about 5 times. You say, "Okay, I get this."
Yeah,
I get this.
telling a story.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Mary, Ben, thank you guys
Well,
for coming on.
let's not forget the other super exciting project that's going on.
Oh,
It's the
how could I
biopic
forget?
film about the history of the
Oh,
Cate
Holy
Brothers.
moly.
Oh my
Just
gosh,
killer.
the legend of
I'm the
Northwest
worst.
Arkansas. That's
You wanna
okay.
see- yeah. If you ever want to see Earl Cate,
Yeah.
looking like Bruce Springsteen. You will see it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It was
oh,
nice.
my
It
gosh.
was, that was the first time I had met the Cate Brothers, having them on the podcast, because I've always looked at them as almost like celebrities,
Yeah.
growing up around here.
I
It's
think
just
they
like,
are.
I'm like, I better have something to say if I'm going to go up and say hi to them. You know what I mean? Like one of those things.
I know. I remember you
So-
were a little nervous.
No, that's what I
for
was
the
saying. Out of
interview.
all the podcasts, I've got to interview Marty Stewart and Victor Wooten and a lot of icons in music. And that was the one that I think I was probably most nervous about, just because they've just done so much. Then they've had such a long career. I was talking to Brian a few weeks ago, and he goes, how cool is it that after 50 years, they're coming back and selling out
At
the club?
I know.
I don't know.
And I was talking to Johnny Tyson the other day, and he made this comment. He goes, I really don't think Northwest Arkansas knows what they got
I'll agree with that.
in them.
I
They
think
don't get it.
that's with
Yeah.
Shindig. I work with Shindig Music,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's telling the story there. That was like kind of one of our main, when we first started, we're like, there's so much rich history here in Arkansas. There's, everybody knows about Johnny Cash and stuff like that, but there's folks that are literally walking around, you see at the supermarket, that's done some crazy stuff around here. And we really dove into what the Cate Brothers have done, their career and their albums and stuff like that. And Robbie went around, he interviewed a lot of people, just gaining knowledge, that way we could tell this story. Because, with Shindig, we're trying to bridge the gap between old and new.
Right.
Because, I met Robbie through playing on the street over here in front of Chester's, which was Harold's place. And we would sit
Back in
outside
the
at
day,
Big Smith
man.
shows. Big Smith would be playing on the inside. I was about 16, so I couldn't get in. And we played like hand percussion, and I met my singer for a band that I'm still in now out there playing on the street. And Robbie would sing with us, and he ended up going off and going to L.A., and he toured with a big band and went around and did a bunch of big stuff for a long time. But like, that's my first real memory on Dixon Street, is standing outside in Chester's and watching all these bands that, some of them I still see coming in here, and they're still playing and doing some cool stuff. And it's there's so much history here. Like I said, the local bands will sometimes become, bigger, and just because they don't take the risk to go lose money by touring all over the country.
Right, which is extremely costly.
Yeah, God. Tell me about it.
And
still paying it off.
What's
So-
really going to be cool, yesterday I met with my good friend Darren Novotny, who you know.
Yeah.
And listened to the final mix of the Cate Brothers live here on their 50th anniversary thing, three months ago. Okay.
November 16th.
Yeah, which is going to be released at the new one, March 21st. We're going to have a buttload of records.
I thought that was interesting and pretty cool that they had sold out their first show.
Yeah.
We had to add another one right away just because there's so much demand for
Exactly.
Yeah.
such a cool event.
Yeah.
And I think with this film, people are going to more than ever appreciate the Cate Brothers. I mean, this is also, it's for their fans who love them so much, but it's for a wider audience as
If you
well.
don't want to spill the beans,
And
that's
it's
all right.
fun.
But are you guys
fun.
kind of telling the story of everything, or is it?
No.
Well, in a way, it is set up in a chronological way, but it's also to just help people understand what the music traditions are of Northwest Arkansas and how intricately woven the Cate Brothers were in it.
Yeah.
One of the other things that John Tyson said in the interview that we did with him, I think really said so much about what they're about. They were the real community band.
Yeah,
They
he said
brought
they
this
were the community
community
band.
together,
Absolutely.
which is
that's
so special.
that's how I first heard about them, was as a community band.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, that's a band that lives here in town. And then, when you're like 16 or 17, you're not like really researching the bands around town. You're kind of off being a kid.
Right.
And then as I got
Right.
I got my mid-20s and stuff, and I'm like, well, who are the Nace brothers? Who are the Cate brothers?
Right.
Who are these people?
The Nace Brothers.
then-
that's
and then
a
I-
whole nother podcast.
And then I start diving into it, and I'm like, this is crazy that it's not household knowledge for anybody that plays music around here, that they know who these folks are.
Well, I think people will be learning new things about the Cate Brothers.
For sure.
We want to show more than what, the fans get to see on stage. Give them some, little...
I mean, we're out on the farm at the hunt
Yeah.
farm, driving around the four-wheeler, just shoot the breeze and
Arkansas stuff.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Cool.
Because
Cool.
that's what the Cate Brothers are all about. I mean, they traveled everywhere. They lived in L.A., they toured internationally, but they always wanted to come back and live right here.
I think that's awesome.
So there's going to be plenty of interviews in the film, but also plenty of music.
So
Oh God, yeah, and laughter. I mean, where you're in disbelief that, oh my God,
yeah.
I can't give away anything, but there's
Yeah,
there's,
yeah,
there's,
don't
there's,
give
there's
away.
one thing.
Tell me about the whole
there's
film.
this- No. There's this one song that they do, and for some reason, some artist came in and made these things that don't make any sense. They will make sense when you see it, okay? But they're very sexual. That's all.
Oh, yes.
So that
And
is.
they're up there playing. I'm like,
Well, depending
what
on where
is
your
this?
mind is,
What
of
is
course.
this?
So if folks want to see the movie, it's going to be shown here for free.
Yes.
For free.
You don't even need tickets.
February 19th. Right.
At what time? 7?
Yes.
And you can go online to georgeslive.com for more details.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
So,
It's all seated too.
and it, okay,
all seated.
and it's going to be playing movie theaters afterwards around here locally. Is
yeah,
that a thing?
it's going to Hot Springs. It's going to Bentonville. Yeah.
Nice. So people will be able to see it afterwards.
yeah,
so,
yeah.
well, cool.
It's exciting.
Man, you're doing a lot of stuff. How do you keep all this in line?
I don't know.
Story of my life.
It's called Sleep 4 Hours a Night.
Sometimes I write down everything I do. I'll do it and I'll write it down on a note card and carry it with me for a week, and then
Yeah,
I'll check
but
it to make
man,
sure
I
I'm
know.
checking all my.
Exactly.
Travis
And then look
is-
back and say, how did I accomplish all that?
Yeah, it's like you just got to write a list and knock it out, I guess.
But I can always tell when you're tired.
I do hit a point to where sometimes I gotta go.
Says
I'm
Travis
done.
is sitting
I
like
just
this
turn
right
off. I call it recharging my batteries. I go home and don't talk to anybody for like half a day. But after that, I'm ready to go for like another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's a good
and
trade-off.
I can go
Helps
for
to be
about
young.
2 weeks, 10 days, and then I just bang, I just crash.
So
That's it.
that's, I guess, life of artist, I guess.
Yeah.
So, well, thank
All
you
right.
guys for coming on the podcast.
Thank
Good luck
you.
with everything.
Thank you for having us.
Pleasure, as always, Travis. It's
Yeah,
great
for
that you're
sure.
doing this.
Thank you. It's I can't believe my job sometimes, to be honest with you. So
I feel the same way.
So it's great. Thank you guys
We're
for
lucky.
listening to the podcast. We have more episodes online. You can go online to listen to them directly from the website at georgeslive.com. Be sure to follow us on social media on Facebook at George's Majestic Lounge, and on Instagram at George's Majestic Lounge, and on Twitter at George's Majestic. And be sure to hit up the website, get your tickets, see what shows are coming up. Get on there, get details. Come check out this Cate Brothers movie in February. And thank you guys for coming on the podcast. See y'all next time.
Thanks for having
Thank
us. Very good. You're so good, Travis.